Part 1. First Contact and the Galactic Revelation. Humanity makes first contact with aliens when a diplomatic vessel from the Galactic Confederation lands in Washington, D.C. The alien delegation, led by Ambassador Zorax, reveals the existence of a vast interstellar community comprising over 300 species. They explain the Confederation's tiered membership system based on planetary classifications. Earth is classified as a Class 5 Deathworld due to its harsh conditions, high gravity, extreme weather patterns, and dangerous flora-fauna. Humans are shocked to learn they're considered evolutionary anomalies, incredibly durable, adaptable, and resilient compared to most sentient species. The delegation invites Earth to join the Confederation as a protected species with limited rights. Major world powers form the Earth United Council, led by diplomat Alexander Grant and military advisor Captain Lisa Reeves. The Council negotiates better terms while secretly preparing defensive measures in case of hostility. The part ends with the Council's decision to accept Confederation membership, but with the goal of climbing the political ladder. Part 2. Adaptation and Ascension. 3 years after joining the Confederation, humans have begun integrating into galactic society. Dr. Olivia Martinez leads scientific exchange programs revealing humans' exceptional adaptability to different environments. Humans become sought-after crew members for dangerous expeditions and security details. Navy Lieutenant Benjamin Cole serves on a Confederation patrol vessel, facing discrimination but proving human worth during a pirate attack. The Galactic Council announces a special election for new leadership of the Deathworld Alliance, a political bloc of species from harsh planets. Current Alliance leadership has been ineffective, and many members see humans as potential champions despite their newcomer status. Earth politicians debate whether to put forward a candidate, with some fearing backlash. Catherine Ward, a pragmatic former diplomat with military experience, is selected as Earth's candidate. The part ends with Ward's nomination speech, emphasizing unity among Deathworld species and challenging the status quo. Part 3. The Galactic Campaign. Catherine Ward embarks on an ambitious tour of Deathworld planets to build support. She visits Durak, a high-gravity world where she impresses locals by functioning normally in their environment. Ward teams up with Grawl, a reptilian strategist from another Deathworld, forming a powerful alliance. The Confederation establishment, led by the Araxian hegemony, feels threatened and begins a smear campaign. They spread propaganda about humans being too primitive and violent for leadership. Ambassador Daniel Powell counters by organizing humanitarian missions to crisis zones. A terrorist attack targets Ward's campaign vessel, but her security team's quick response saves many lives. Evidence links the attack to Araxian extremists, creating a diplomatic crisis. Ward's popularity surges as Deathworld species see humans as their best protection against establishment oppression. The part ends with the final debate before the election, where Ward's practical solutions and straightforward approach resonate with voters. Part 4. Victory and Consequences. Election day arrives with unprecedented turnout across Deathworld systems. Ward wins by a narrow margin, becoming the first human to hold a major Confederation position. Celebrations on Earth are tempered by the enormous responsibility this represents. The Araxian hegemony and their allies protest the results, demanding recounts and investigations. Ward assembles a diverse cabinet including representatives from various Deathworld species. Her first executive order establishes a Deathworld Defense Initiative to protect member planets. Intelligence officer Ryan Blackwood uncovers a plot by Araxian hardliners to assassinate Ward. The Deathworld Alliance mobilizes its military assets, leading to a tense standoff with Araxian forces. Ward gives a powerful address to the Galactic Council, exposing Araxian corruption and threats. The part ends with the Confederation majority voting to sanction the Araxian hegemony, cementing the Deathworld Alliance's new political power. Part 5. The Rise of Humanity. 1 year into Ward's term, the Deathworld Alliance has transformed into a formidable political and military force. Earth has become the unofficial capital of the Alliance, with massive technological advancement from knowledge exchange. The first human-designed interstellar vessels built to accommodate Deathworlders' needs Launch from Earth shipyards. Alliance species begin adopting human methods of governance, education, and military training. A crisis emerges when a previously unknown predatory species attacks Confederation border worlds. The regular Confederation forces struggle against the invaders' brutal tactics and biological weapons. Ward convinces the Alliance to lead the defense, with Commander Ethan Mitchell coordinating the military response. The human approach to warfare proves devastatingly effective against the invaders. Mitchell's forces repel the invasion, saving billions of lives across multiple systems. The story concludes with the Galactic Council voting to elevate Earth's status and formally recognize the Deathworld Alliance as the Confederation's premier defensive force. In the final scene, Ambassador Nicole Bennett receives notification that Earth has been nominated for a position on the Confederation's Supreme Council, suggesting humanity's rise has only just begun. Main characters: Alexander Grant, Earth's initial representative to the Confederation, a veteran diplomat who first negotiates Earth's membership terms; Lisa Reeves, military advisor to the Earth United Council, cautious and strategic; Dr. Olivia Martinez, leading xenobiologist who facilitates scientific exchange between Earth and alien species; Benjamin Cole, Navy lieutenant serving on a Confederation vessel, proving human worth through actions; Catherine Ward, Earth's candidate who becomes the leader of the Deathworld Alliance; Grawl, reptilian ally from another Deathworld who becomes Ward's chief strategist; Daniel Powell, Earth's ambassador, who organizes humanitarian missions to improve humanity's image; Ryan Blackwood, intelligence officer who uncovers plots against the Alliance; Ethan Mitchell, military commander who leads the defense against the unknown invaders; Nicole Bennett, ambassador who receives Earth's nomination to the Supreme Council. Key themes: humanity's exceptional adaptability as an evolutionary advantage; political maneuvering and alliance building in interspecies relations; overcoming prejudice through demonstrated competence; the balance between military strength and diplomatic solutions; the ethical responsibility that comes with increasing power; unity among diverse species facing common challenges; human ingenuity applied to galactic-scale problems. 3 years passed since Earth joined the Galactic Confederation. Humans had spread across the stars, finding their place in the vast community of alien species. The transition had not been easy. Many Confederation races still viewed humans as dangerous primitives, but that perception was slowly changing. Dr. Olivia Martinez stood in her laboratory aboard the Confederation science vessel Stellar Explorer. She checked the environmental readings one more time. The chamber was set to match the atmosphere of Traxxas Prime, a world with air that would burn human lungs without protection. Yet inside the chamber, her assistant worked without any breathing. "Equipment. How do you feel, Patrick?" she asked through the communication system. Patrick Riley gave a thumbs up. "The gene therapy is working. It burns a little, but I can breathe." The alien scientists watching the experiment whispered among themselves. A tall, insect-like being named Krill approached Martinez. "Impossible." Krill clicked in the Confederation. Standard language. "No species adapts so quickly. Your assistant should be dead." Martinez smiled. "Humans evolved on a planet where conditions change rapidly. Our bodies are designed to adapt." This was the third successful adaptation experiment her team had conducted. First, they had developed treatments to help humans withstand extreme cold, then resistance to certain types of radiation. Now, the ability to breathe toxic atmospheres. Each success proved human adaptability went beyond physical toughness. Across the Confederation, humans were making similar impressions. On trade hubs and space stations, they worked jobs that other species found too dangerous. Human security teams earned triple pay for their ability to function in environments that would kill most guards. Exploration vessels sought human crew members for their durability during emergencies. Lieutenant Benjamin Cole experienced this firsthand aboard the Confederation patrol ship, Vigilant. When he first joined the crew, the other species kept their distance. They saw him as an unpredictable animal. That changed after pirates attacked their vessel near the outer rim. The pirates released a nerve gas that paralyzed most of the crew. Cole, less affected due to his human physiology, dragged 3 officers to safety and sealed the bridge. He then helped repel the boarding party, fighting despite injuries that would have incapacitated other species. Now 6 months later, Cole sat in the ship's dining area with crew members from 5 different planets. They were discussing the upcoming election for leadership of the Deathworld Alliance. "The Alliance has been weak for too long," said Drex, a reptilian security officer whose homeworld had gravity twice that of Earth. "The soft-worlders ignore our needs." The Deathworld Alliance was a political bloc within the Confederation, representing species from harsh planets. Until now, it had been led by the Varric, a species that had grown comfortable with Confederation politics and rarely pushed for change. "Humans should put forward a candidate," suggested Morka, a furry engineer whose world was covered in toxic jungles. "You've accomplished more in 3 years than most species do in 20. Cole shook his head. "We're too new to the Confederation. The established powers would never accept human leadership." But back on Earth, the idea was already gaining traction. The Earth United Council met in their headquarters in Geneva, now expanded to include representatives from human colonies on 3 Confederation worlds. "The Galactic Council has announced a special election for leadership of the Deathworld Alliance," said Alexander Grant, now Earth's senior ambassador. "Several Alliance members have approached us about nominating a human candidate." The room erupted in debate. Some council members saw an opportunity to increase human influence. Others worried about moving too quickly and facing backlash. "We've only been members for 3 years, argued the European representative. "Other species might see this as human aggression, but the Deathworlders respect strength," countered the African representative. "They admire how quickly we've adapted." Lisa Reeves, now General Reeves and head of Earth's Defense Forces, studied the holographic map showing Alliance worlds. "This isn't just about prestige. The Alliance controls access to strategic resources and trade routes. If a human led it, we could accelerate our development." After days of discussion, the Council made their decision. They would nominate a candidate, but not a politician. They needed someone who embodied human adaptability and strength while understanding Confederation diplomacy. They chose Catherine Ward. At 42, Ward had served as a diplomat on 3 alien worlds and had previously commanded a peacekeeping force in Africa. She was pragmatic, direct, and physically impressive by human standards, characteristics that Deathworld species respected. Ward was surprised when Grant offered her the nomination. "Me? There are more experienced diplomats. But none with your combination of skills," Grant explained. "Deathworld species value strength and practical solutions. Your military background gives you credibility with them." "And if I win?" she asked. "What then?" "Then we gain influence far beyond what our Confederation status would normally allow," said Reeves. "And we start changing perceptions about humans." Ward accepted the nomination. 1 week later, she stood before representatives from 27 Deathworld species in the Alliance chamber on Confederation Central Station. The chamber was uncomfortable for most species, with sections adjusted for different environmental needs. Some delegates wore breathing apparatus, others sat in special gravity fields. Humans were among the few who needed no special accommodations. "I am Catherine Ward of Earth," she began. "I come from a world that many of you would find familiar, a planet where survival requires strength, where creatures evolved to endure harsh conditions. Like you, we know what it means to fight for every advancement." The delegates listened quietly. Many had never heard a human speak in person before. "For too long, the Alliance has accepted second-class status in the Confederation. We request resources last. We receive technology slowly. Our concerns are dismissed because soft-world species outnumber us. This must change." She moved away from the podium, walking closer to the delegates. This simple act impressed many. Most species stayed behind protective barriers when addressing mixed groups. "If elected, I will unite our voices. Deathworlders are not just strong bodies. We are strong minds with unique perspectives. The Confederation needs our strength, our innovation, our willingness to take risks. Together, we can demand the respect we deserve. When she finished speaking, the chamber was silent for a moment. Then a low rumbling sound began, the equivalent of applause from the stone-skinned delegates from Craxus Firth. Others joined with their species' expressions of approval. As Ward left the chamber, a tall reptilian being approached her. His scales were dark green, and he moved with the careful grace of someone used to higher gravity. "I am Grawl, representative from Torkan," he said. "Your words echo what many of us have thought for decades. Perhaps humans are exactly what the Alliance needs." Ward smiled and offered her hand in the human gesture of greeting. Grawl took it carefully, his scaled fingers wrapping around hers. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The campaign will be difficult." Grawl's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. "All worthwhile things are difficult, human. That is why Deathworlders succeed where others fail." Catherine Ward's campaign ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the planet Durak. The massive world loomed in the view screen, its surface a swirl of deep purples and browns. According to the ship's sensors, the gravity on Durak was twice that of Earth. "Are you sure about this?" asked Grawl, her reptilian advisor. "Most candidates send recorded messages to Durak. The gravity will be extremely uncomfortable for you." Ward checked her environmental suit one more time. "Deathworlders respect those who face challenges head-on. I won't win their support by hiding on my ship." The landing was rough. Ward's team consisted of 4 humans and Grawl. As they stepped onto the surface of Durak, the humans immediately felt the crushing weight of the high gravity. Ward's legs trembled with each step, but she refused assistance. A group of Durakians waited for them. They resembled large turtles walking upright, with thick limbs and heavy shells. The lead Durakian, Elder Korth, watched Ward with surprise. "You walk in our gravity," Korth said, his voice deep and slow. "Most visitors use hover platforms." Ward smiled through her discomfort. "I came to understand your world, not float above it." For 6 hours, Ward toured the main Durakian city. Every step was painful, but she never complained. She visited mines where Durakians extracted rare metals used in starship engines. She ate their food, which tasted like clay but contained nutrients that helped bodies withstand high gravity. By the time they returned to the ship, Ward could barely stand, but her effort had paid off. Elder Korth pledged the full support of Durak to her campaign. "You understand what it means to be from a harsh world," he told her. "The current Alliance leadership has grown soft. They forget the strength that forged us." Over the next 2 months, Ward visited 15 Deathworld planets. On each world, she pushed herself to experience local conditions. On ice planets, she walked through blizzards. On toxic worlds, she wore minimal protection to show respect for those who lived there permanently. Grawl became her closest advisor and friend. His world, Torkan, was a jungle planet with predators larger than Earth's ancient dinosaurs. He understood strategy and politics in ways that complemented Ward's direct approach. "The Araxian hegemony is worried about your growing support," Grawl told her one evening as they reviewed campaign data. "They control 3 seats on the Confederation High Council. They don't want a strong Deathworld alliance challenging their power." The Araxians were a highly advanced species from a planet with perfect conditions: mild gravity, stable climate, and few natural threats. They had been among the founding members of the Confederation and viewed Deathworlders with a mixture of fear and disgust. "Let them worry," Ward replied. "It's time they learned that harsh environments produce strong leaders." But the Araxians didn't just worry, they acted. News broadcasts across the Confederation began featuring stories about human violence. Historical documentaries highlighted Earth's wars and environmental destruction. Political experts questioned whether such a primitive species could be trusted with Alliance leadership. Ward's team responded quickly. Ambassador Daniel Powell organized humanitarian missions to worlds suffering from natural disasters. Human medical teams worked alongside alien doctors, sharing knowledge of trauma treatment developed on Earth. Human engineers helped rebuild structures destroyed by earthquakes and storms. Show them what humans do best, Powell told the teams. We survive, we adapt, and we help others do the same. Public opinion began to shift, especially among Deathworld species who benefited directly from human assistance. But the Oraxians had more dangerous plans. Ward's campaign ship was traveling between systems when the attack came. 3 unmarked vessels appeared from hyperspace and opened fire without warning. The ship's shields held initially, but they were designed for radiation protection, not combat. "All hands to emergency stations," called the captain over the intercom. "This is not a drill." Ward and Grawl rushed to the bridge. The ship rocked with another impact. "Can we return fire?" Ward asked. The captain shook his head. "We're a diplomatic vessel. We have only defensive capabilities." Grawl studied the tactical display. "Their attack pattern suggests they want to disable, not destroy. They likely plan to board us." Ward made a quick decision. "All non-essential. Personnel to the escape pods. Launch when ready." "What about you?" asked the captain. "I'm staying," Ward said firmly. "Have your security team meet me in the armory." The human security team, led by a former Marine named Alan Dixon, prepared for boarding. They distributed weapons to anyone who could fight, including Ward and Grawl. When the attackers cut through the outer hull, they found something they didn't expect: organized resistance. The humans fought with a ferocity that shocked the boarding party. Despite being outnumbered, they held key positions throughout the ship. Ward herself took down 2 attackers. Years of military training came back easily as she moved through the corridor, Grawl covering her flank. The battle lasted 40 minutes before Confederation patrol ships responded to their distress call. The attackers retreated, but not before. Ward's team captured one of them alive. The prisoner was an Ixalan mercenary, a species known for taking any job if the price was right. When questioned, he revealed he had been hired by representatives of the Oraxian hegemony. News of the attack spread quickly across Confederation space. Video footage showed Ward fighting alongside her crew, helping wounded and maintaining calm during the crisis. Far from harming her campaign, the attack doubled her support overnight. Deathworld species saw exactly what they needed in a leader, someone who could think clearly in danger and fight when necessary. The Oraxians denied involvement, but evidence from the captured mercenary caused a diplomatic crisis. Several neutral species who had remained uncommitted in the election now publicly supported Ward. "The attack was meant to eliminate you," Grawl told Ward as they prepared for the final campaign debate. "Instead, it may have guaranteed your victory." Ward nodded, looking at the latest polls showing her leading by a narrow margin. "People from harsh worlds understand that attacks only make us stronger. That's the lesson Earth taught us through our entire history." The final debate was held on Confederation Central Station. Representatives from all 27 member species of the Deathworld Alliance attended in person. Billions more watched via transmission across thousands of worlds. Ward faced her main opponent, Tarek Voss, the current Alliance leader. Voss was Avaric, tall and thin with pale blue skin. His species had been leading the Alliance for 40 years, maintaining a careful, non-confrontational approach. "Experience matters," Voss said during his opening statement. "I have guided the Alliance through difficult times. We have gained concessions from the Confederation through careful diplomacy and patience." When it was Ward's turn, she stepped away from her podium and addressed the audience directly. "Patience is a luxury of those from gentle worlds," she said. "On Deathworlds, action means survival. For too long, the Alliance has asked politely and received crumbs. I offer a different approach: unity through strength. Together, we will demand the respect our worlds have earned through their hardship." As the debate continued, Ward's practical solutions and straightforward manner won over the audience. Where Voss spoke of committees and long-term plans, Ward offered immediate action and clear goals. When the debate ended, even Voss knew something had changed in Alliance politics. The age of careful, quiet diplomacy was ending. The era of human influence was about to begin. Election day spread across the Deathworld Alliance like a wave. Due to the different rotation speeds of the 27-member planets, voting stations opened and closed at different times. Earth was among the last to vote. Catherine Ward waited, in her temporary quarters on Confederation Central Station. The walls were lined with screens showing voter turnout data and preliminary results. Grawl stood beside her, his scaled face unreadable to most species, but Ward had learned to recognize his expressions. "The outer colonies are reporting record participation," he said. 90% turnout on Durak, 85% on Torkan. Ward nodded. High turnout generally favored her campaign. The current leadership had grown comfortable with most Deathworlders not bothering to vote. Her candidacy had energized those who felt forgotten. "The Araxians have filed 3 more complaints with the election committee," said Daniel Powell, entering the room with a data tablet. "They claim our humanitarian missions were improper campaign activities." "They're getting desperate," Ward replied. "How are things on Earth?" Powell smiled. "Lines at every voting station. People who never cared about Confederation politics are showing up. Your speech last week really connected with them." Ward had returned briefly to Earth to address her home planet. She spoke about humanity's new place in the galaxy and how leading the Alliance would open doors previously closed to them. The response had been overwhelming. As the day continued, results trickled in. Some planets favored the incumbent, Tarek. Fuzzler strongly supported Ward. The race remained too close to predict. Then came the reports of irregularities. On 2 planets traditionally loyal to Voss, voting machines mysteriously malfunctioned. On Ward-supporting worlds, some voters reported intimidation. The Confederation Electoral Commission launched immediate investigations. "This is normal," Grawl assured Ward when she expressed concern. "Every major election has challenges. The important thing is that the process continues." By evening, Central Station time, the results from 25 worlds were in. Ward and Voss were separated by less than 1 percentage point, with Ward slightly ahead. Everything depended on the final 2 planets, Earth and Krelar, a mining world, with a harsh atmosphere. Earth's results came in first. Humanity had voted overwhelmingly for their candidate, giving Ward a 2-point lead overall. Now only Krelar remained. The Krelar results were delayed due to atmospheric storms. For 3 hours the galaxy waited. Ward paced her quarters while supporters gathered outside in the station's main plaza. Finally, the announcement came. The people of Krelar, miners who had long felt ignored by the Alliance leadership, had voted heavily for change. Catherine Ward had won the election by 2.4 percentage points. The room erupted in cheers. Ward accepted congratulations from her team, but her expression remained serious. "This isn't just a victory for me or for Earth," she told them. "It's the beginning of real work." On Earth, celebrations broke out in major cities. After decades of looking up at the stars and wondering, humans had claimed a significant place in galactic politics. News reports showed people dancing in streets from New York to Tokyo, from Rio to Sydney. But not everyone celebrated. The Araxian hegemony immediately filed formal protests with the Confederation High Council, demanding recounts and investigations. Their ambassador called Ward's victory a dangerous precedent that places galactic stability at risk. Tarek Voss conceded the election with grace, but warned that a human leader might cause divisions within the Alliance. Some conservative Deathworld species expressed concern about Earth's rapid rise. Ward ignored the noise and began forming her administration. She chose a diverse cabinet that included representatives from 12 different Deathworld species. Grawl became her chief advisor, while Alan Dixon, who had distinguished himself during the ship attack, was appointed head of security. Her first speech as Alliance leader was brief and direct. "For too long, the Deathworld Alliance has accepted less than we deserve. That changes today. We will work within Confederation law, but we will work tirelessly to ensure our voices are heard and our needs are met." Her first executive order established the Deathworld Defense Initiative, a mutual protection agreement among Alliance members. Each planet would contribute to a unified defense force designed to respond quickly to threats against any member world. The Araxians viewed this as a provocative move. Their representatives walked out of the next Confederation session in protest. Other soft-world species began to worry about the changing balance of power. Ward worked 18-hour days, meeting with representatives from every Alliance world, learning their specific needs and challenges. She slept little and pushed her human endurance to its limits. Her direct approach shocked some, but impressed many more. "Humans don't waste time," remarked the representative from Voltax, a world with constant electrical storms. They understand that on harsh worlds, delay costs lives. 2 months into Ward's term, Intelligence Officer Ryan Blackwood discovered something alarming. The Araxian hegemony had been quietly moving military assets toward Alliance space. More concerning, he uncovered communications suggesting a plot to remove Ward permanently. "They're discussing assassination," Blackwood told Ward during a secure briefing. "They believe eliminating you would return the Alliance to its previous passive state." Ward called an emergency meeting with her Security Council. Rather than hiding from the threat, she decided to confront it directly. She ordered Alliance military ships to conduct exercises near Araxian space, not as a threat, but as a clear message that they were watching. The Araxian hegemony responded by formally accusing the Alliance of aggressive posturing. They demanded the Confederation High Council intervene. The situation reached a crisis point when Araxian ships and Alliance vessels faced off near a disputed trading post. Neither side fired, but neither would withdraw. The galaxy held its breath, wondering if this human-led change would lead to the first interstellar conflict in generations. Ward requested time to address the full Galactic Council. Standing before representatives from all 300 Confederation species, she spoke without notes or prepared text. "The Araxian hegemony fears change," she began. "They fear what happens when those they considered inferior demand equal treatment. But their fear does not justify their actions." She then presented Blackwood's evidence, communication logs, ship movements, and the assassination plans. The council chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. "We do not seek conflict," Ward continued. "Deathworlders understand better than anyone the true cost of war. We fight when necessary, but we prefer to build rather than destroy. All we ask is the respect due to full members of this confederation." The Araxian representative attempted to dismiss the evidence as fabricated, but 3 independent species offered to verify its authenticity. The mood in the chamber shifted as even traditional Araxian allies distanced themselves from the hegemony's actions. After 2 days of emergency sessions, the Confederation High Council voted to sanction the Araxian hegemony and ordered a neutral zone established between their territories and Alliance space. It was an unprecedented diplomatic victory for Ward and the Alliance. As Ward left the council chamber, surrounded by her team, a representative from a soft-world planet approached her. "I did not believe a Deathworlder could navigate Confederation politics so effectively," she said. "Perhaps we have underestimated your species." Ward smiled. "Many make that mistake, but they rarely make it twice." Back in her office on Central Station, Ward looked out at the vast expanse of space visible through her viewport. In just 6 months, she had transformed the Alliance from an overlooked faction to a major power within the Confederation. Earth, once an unknown backwater planet, was now at the center of galactic politics, and this was just the beginning. 1 year had passed since Catherine Ward became leader of the Deathworld Alliance. In that short time, everything had changed. The Alliance was no longer a forgotten group of harsh world species. It had become a power that even the oldest Confederation members now treated with respect and caution. Earth had become the unofficial capital of the Alliance. Representatives from 26 other Deathworld species had established permanent offices in Geneva, working alongside human diplomats. They shared knowledge, technology, and culture, finding common ground in their experiences of surviving difficult environments. In orbit above Earth, the first human-designed interstellar vessels took shape. Unlike the sleek, delicate ships of soft-world species, these were built sturdy and strong. They had reinforced hulls, redundant systems, and environmental controls that could support life forms from any Deathworld. "They're not pretty," said Engineer Sam Rodriguez as he guided Ward through the nearly complete flagship. But they'll survive situations that would tear other ships apart. Ward nodded appreciatively. Deathworlders don't need pretty. We need reliable. The exchange of knowledge had accelerated human development beyond all expectations. In medical science, humans shared their advanced trauma treatments while learning cellular regeneration techniques from other species. In education, Earth universities adopted teaching methods from planets where survival depended on quick learning. In military training, human tactics merged with alien strategies to create new approaches to security. Even the Araxian hegemony had been forced to acknowledge the changing balance of power. After their failed attempts to undermine Ward's leadership, they had retreated to a policy of cold but formal relations. Ward was reviewing reports in her office on Confederation Central Station when Grawl entered urgently. "We've received a distress call from the border sectors," he said, his voice grave. "Something is attacking Confederation worlds." Within hours, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Reports came in from multiple systems. An unknown species had appeared at the edge of explored space and launched attacks on frontier worlds. They used biological weapons and brutal tactics that shocked even veteran Confederation military commanders. "The attacks show no interest in resources or territory," reported Admiral Lorne of the Confederation fleet. "They appear focused on destroying all life forms they encounter." The Council immediately authorized a defense force, but many soft-world species hesitated to commit ships and personnel to such a dangerous mission. The standard Confederation military had been designed primarily for peacekeeping, not all-out warfare. Ward listened to the debates for nearly an hour before standing to address the Council. "While you discuss protocol and jurisdiction, people are dying," she said, her voice cutting through the chamber. "The Deathworld Alliance will lead the defense. We only ask that you provide us with the authority to act." After brief debate, the Council voted to grant Ward's request. The Alliance would coordinate the military response with other Confederation forces in support roles. Ward immediately contacted Commander Ethan Mitchell, a veteran of Earth's Special Forces who now served as military advisor to the Alliance. Mitchell had been studying the reports of the attack since they first arrived. "They target water sources first," he observed, "and they seem especially interested in planets with diverse ecosystems. This isn't random violence, they're following a pattern." "Can we defend against them?" Ward asked. Mitchell's expression was grim. "Not with conventional Confederation tactics, but Deathworlders know something about fighting for survival." Ward gave Mitchell full authority to coordinate the Alliance defense forces. Within days, ships from all 27 Deathworld planets converged near the attack zone. The fleet was smaller than a standard Confederation force but consisted entirely of crews accustomed to harsh conditions and emergency situations. Mitchell established his command center on the Alliance flagship Endurance. His strategy was unconventional by Confederation standards. Instead of forming defensive lines around populated worlds, he divided his forces into small mobile units that could strike quickly and withdraw before the enemy could respond. "Predators become confused when their prey fights back unexpectedly," he explained to his commanders. "We'll use that psychology against them." The first engagement came near a mining colony that had already been partially destroyed. Alliance. Ships arrived just as the unknown attackers were beginning their final assault on the colony's main habitat dome. Following Mitchell's plan, the Alliance forces split into 3 groups. The first engaged the enemy directly, drawing their attention. The second moved to evacuate survivors from the colony. The third circled behind the attackers and targeted their command ship. The battle was fierce. The unknown species fought with a savagery that matched anything Deathworlders had seen, but they were unprepared for opponents who didn't retreat when threatened and who could function even when systems failed. Human security teams led boarding parties onto enemy vessels, fighting in corridors filled with toxic gas that would have killed soft-world species instantly. Reptilian crews from Torcon continued fighting despite serious injuries. Engineers from high-gravity worlds worked to repair battle damage while under fire. After 6 hours, the attackers retreated. It was the first defeat they had suffered since entering Confederation space. Over the next month, similar battles took place across the frontier. Mitchell's forces couldn't be everywhere at once, but they moved quickly between hotspots, hitting the enemy and disappearing before they could regroup. Ward traveled to affected worlds, coordinating relief efforts and gathering information about the attackers. On the planet Nerix, she personally helped evacuate a research station while enemy ships bombarded the surface. Scientists studying recovered enemy technology determined the invaders came from a region of space with extremely high radiation levels. They had evolved in environments even harsher than Deathworld's, making them dangerous opponents but also somewhat predictable in their aggression. They see all other life as competitors, explained Dr. Olivia Martinez, who led the research team. They don't understand cooperation or negotiation, they only understand domination. After 2 months of fighting, Mitchell developed a plan to push the invaders back. He gathered the entire Alliance fleet, along with volunteers from several soft-world species who had been impressed by the Alliance's success. The final battle took place near a dead star that the invaders were using as a staging area. Mitchell's forces launched a coordinated attack from multiple vectors, using tactics the enemy hadn't encountered before. Ward watched from the command ship as Alliance vessels engaged the enemy. The battle lasted 14 hours. Ships were lost, on both sides. But the human approach to warfare, a mixture of strategic thinking, tactical flexibility, and sheer determination, proved effective against even these savage opponents. The invaders retreated beyond the edge of charted space. Confederation tracking stations monitored their withdrawal to ensure they didn't return. For the first time in recorded history, an aggressive species had been driven back without negotiation or compromise. When Mitchell's fleet returned to Confederation space, they received heroes' welcomes on every world they passed. Species that had once feared Deathworlders now celebrated them as saviors. The Galactic Council convened a special session to recognize the Alliance's service. In an unprecedented move, they voted to elevate Earth's status within the Confederation and formally acknowledge the Deathworld Alliance as the Confederation's premier defensive force. Ward accepted the recognition with dignity, but used her speech to emphasize unity rather than triumph. Deathworlders understand that survival often depends on cooperation, she told the Council. We fought not just for ourselves, but for all sentient beings who wish to live in peace. After the ceremony, Ward returned to her office to find a notification. Waiting. Ambassador Nicole Bennett, Earth's representative to the Confederation, had urgent news. Earth has been nominated for a position on the Confederation's Supreme Council, Bennett reported, her voice filled with excitement. If approved, we would have direct influence over Confederation policy at the highest level. Ward smiled. Just 4 years ago, humans had been unknown in the galaxy. Now they stood at the center of interstellar politics. Inform the Earth United. Council, she said, and prepare our case. Our rise has only just begun.